students, hello viewers. In this video I'm going to answer biology. So if you're new to this channel, kindly do subscribe to my YouTube channel. So the first question is saying the diagram below shows an organism in a certain kingdom. Okay, so we have part E. So this part E here, it is called the lysoid. Okay, part E is called the lysoid. Specifically, the diagram, the old diagram, it is called the mushroom. Okay, it is called the mushroom. Now, question A is saying, name the kingdom to which the organism belongs. Okay, name the kingdom to which the organism belongs. 1 mark. So the mushroom and also the Lysopas, they belong to the kingdom called kingdom fungi. Okay, so the answer here, it is what? Kingdom fungi. Then as for question B, it is saying, state the mode of nutrition for the organism. State the mode of nutrition for the organism. So the Lysopas and also the mushroom, they share the same mode of nutrition. So in this case here, this one is called the saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition. Okay? Yes. Then as for question C, Roman numeral number 1 is saying, name the part labeled E. So part labeled E, this one here, it is called the lysoid. Okay? It is called the lysoid. So the answer here, it is what? Lysoid. Then as for Roman numeral number 2, it is saying, state the two functions of the part labeled E, which is the what? The lysoid. So the function of the lysoid, the first one is it is to produce the extracellular enzymes. The first one is to produce the extracellular enzymes. Now, those extracellular enzymes, they are released on the substrate, specifically on the bread. Okay? Yes, that is where now the Lysopas anchors. Now, this one here, the mushroom develops from different decaying organisms, like the tree, the decaying. Okay, the tree which is decaying, yes, or the leaves which are decaying. That is where now you are going to find the mushrooms. Now, in this case here, this one here, which is E, it produces what? The extracellular enzymes. Now, those extracellular enzymes, their work is to hydrolyze or to digest starch into what? Maltose. So the first one is to produce extracellular enzymes. Then the last one, it is to anchor. As you can see, these lysoid, they are like the roots. Okay, so their function here, it is to anchor the mushroom or the Lysopas on the substrate. Okay, it is to anchor the Lysopas or the mushroom on the substrate. Okay, so let's try to move on to the next one. So the next one is also coming from the same topic and nutrition, which is the saprophytic nutrition. Okay, so the question is saying the diagram below illustrates the structure of bread mold. Okay, yes. So we have question A, which is saying, name the part labeled J. So this part here, labeled J, it is called the spokes or the sporangulum. Okay, it is called the spokes or the sporangulum. That is for part J. And also we have this part here from this one here. This one here, it is called the sporangiophore. Okay, it is called the sporangiophore. Now, the function of the sporangiophore, it is to hold the spokes. This part here, okay, it is to hold the spokes. As you can see, this one here, it is more like a stem. So it holds the spokes or the sporangulum. Okay, yes. Then as for B, it is saying, state the functions of the structure the body decay. So this part here, which is part the body decay, it is called the lysoid, okay? It is called the lysoid. Now, on this part here, they are just asking us to give them the functions of this part here, okay? So the first one is to produce the extracellular enzymes. Then apart from producing the extracellular enzymes, it also anchors the lysopase on the substrate. It also anchors the lysopase on the substrate. The last one, I need also to mention the function of the sporangulum or the spores. So the function of the sporangulum or the spores, it is to produce the spores, okay? It is to produce what? The spores, okay? So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is saying figure 4.1 shows organisms of three types of cells, let me say of the three types of cell found in the female reproductive system. Now, the question is saying, draw one line, draw one straight line, let me say, yes, draw one straight line to join each diagram to the correct type of cell. So now in this case here, on this part here, we are having what? Diagrams, specifically the specialized cells, and on this part here we are having the type of what? Cells. Now using what? Their names. So the first one here, this one here, it is called what? The ovum or the egg cell. So now we need to draw a straight line pointing where the egg cell is or the ovum. So in this case here, I'm having the egg cell here, which means I'm going to draw the straight line coming from the diagram of the egg cell, going to the what? To the weight of the egg cell. Okay. Then the next one here, it is called, this one here, it is called what? The ciliated what? Cell. So in this case here, I'm going to draw the straight line coming from the ciliated cell, going where? On the diagram of the ciliated what? Cell. Then apart from that one, this one here, which is C, it is the what? The muscle cell. So in this case here, where is our muscle cell? The muscle cell, it is here. So in this case here, I'm going to draw a straight line coming from the diagram of the muscle, pointing at this point here, okay? So now as you can see here, the only cell which is remaining here, it is the what? The nerve cell. Now, as for the nerve cell, let me try to draw the structure of the nerve cell. Specifically, I'm going to draw the structure of the motor neuron, okay? Yes. So this one is just a first sketch of the motor neuron, okay? So these extensions, they are called what? Dendrites, okay? They are called what? Dendrites. And on this part here, you are going to find the what? The cell body. Then we also have the myelin sheath. And this part here, this one here, at this point here, we are going to find what? The cell body. These are called what? The dendrites. And this part here, it is called what? The axon, okay? It is called the axon. Now you are going to find that since this one here, it is the motor neuron, you are going to find that it is going to attach itself on the muscle gland, okay? So this one is just a lovely sketch of the nerve cell, which is the motor neuron, okay? So let's move on to the next one, which is B. So as for B, it is saying cell B is found, so cell B is found on the insides of the oviduct, okay? So the other name for the oviduct, it is called the fallopian tube, okay? It is called what? The fallopian tube. Now, the question is saying this type of cell is also found on the inside of the air passage leading to the lungs, okay? Yes. Now, as for Roman numeral number 1 is saying describe the function of these cells in the air passage, let me say in the air passages leading to the lungs. Okay, so the first function, as you can see, this is our team, or this one here, it is our team, the ciliated cell. Now, you're going to find that the ciliated cell, it has these air-like what structure on top here. These, they are called what? The cilia. Okay, they are called what? The cilia. Now, their function, it is to trap dust particles or pathogen. Okay, so that is the what? The first function. They trap dust particles or pathogens. Then apart from that one, they also sweep out mucus containing dust particles or pathogens. Okay, they also what? Sweep out mucus containing dust particles or pathogens. Okay, then as for Roman number 2 is saying suggest why these cells are present in the oviducts. So the oviducts or the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes, they are usually specifically found in female, okay, in the female reproductive organ. Now, the reason why they are found there, their function is to do what? It is to move an egg or the fertilized egg toward the uterus for implantation. Okay, so their function is to do what? It is to move an egg or fertilized egg toward the uterus for implantation. So you're going to find that when an egg is fertilized, during fertilization, the female gamete and the male gamete, they are going to fuse together. Okay, they are going to fuse together. Once they fuse together, you're going to find that the egg, which is the fertilized egg, is going to move toward the uterus for implantation. So as for the implantation, it is just a process by which the fertilized egg anchors on the walls of the uterus, okay, for it to develop into a baby or the zygote. Okay, yes. So let's move on to the next one. So as for the next one, it is coming from osmosis. So the question is saying figure 1.1 shows a cell from an organism. Okay, a cell from an organism. It is a plant cell. So the reason why I'm saying this one here, it is a plant cell, this is because it has a fixed what? Shape. It has a what? A fixed shape. Now, question A, Roman number 1 is saying in which type of living organism are cells similar to the one shown in figure 1.1 normally found? So this one here, it is found in plant cells. Okay, this one is found where? This one here, it is found in plant cells. Then as for Roman number 2 is saying, state 2 reasons for your choice of living organism in Roman number 1. So here, they are just asking us to give them the reason why we have selected this one to be selected as the plant cell. Okay, so the first reason here, I'm going to say this is because of the fixed shape. Okay, because of the what? The fixed shape. So I'm going to say because of the fixed shape. When you look at the structure of the animal cells, so let me just draw roughly the structure of the animal cell. Okay, so let's take for instance, if this one here, it is the animal cell, we are going to find that it is going to have the cytoplasms. Okay, it is going to have what? The cytoplasms. Then apart from having the cytoplasms, it is going to have the what? The nucleus on the center. Okay, now let's try to compare. This one here, it is the what? The cell membrane. This one here, it is the what? The nucleus. Okay, then this part here, it is called what? The cytoplasm. Now let's come to the structure of the animal cell. So the outer part, it is called the cell wall. Then The inner part, it is called the cell membrane. Now, this part here on the center here, it is called the vacuole. Okay. Now, as you can see here, in an animal cell here, the part which is on the center here, it is the what? The nucleus. Now, on the plant cell here, the part which is on the center here, it is the what? It is the vacuum. Okay. And this part here, the small part here, it is called the what? The nucleus. Now, the last reason here I'm going to say because of the central vacuum. Okay. So this vacuum here, it is at the center. As you can see here, the animal cell, okay, the detailed animal cell, it has a small amount of what? Of vacuum. Now, this one here, it is not the detailed structure of the animal cell. So you're going to find that where the vacuoles are going to be located, they are not going to be located at the center, but they are going to be located somewhere in the cell, like on this part here. Okay. Yes. So this is because of the central vacuum. As you can see here, the vacuum here, it is at the center. Now on this part here, we can see that the vacuum here, it is not at the center. Okay. So because of the central vacuum. When you say because of the central vacuum, which means you're saying the vacuum in the plant cell is located where? At the center. Okay. At the center of the cell. Then as for the next one is saying figure 1.2. which is A, shows the same cell, shows the same cell after it had been placed in solution what? A. Okay, so we have solution A for 10 minutes. The cell was then transferred to solution B. So here we have two solutions, solution A and solution what? B. And figure 1.2, which is B, shows how it appeared after a further 10 minutes. Okay, so on this part here, as you can see here, the plant cell has gained what? Water by osmosis. Then on this part here, you are going to find that the plant cell, or the way the plant cell is appearing, it has lost water by what? By osmosis. Okay, now the question is saying, which is B, explain what has occurred to cause the cell to appear as it does in figure 1.2, which is A. So figure 1.2, as you can see here, on this part here, the cell was placed in solution what? A. Okay, it was placed in solution what? A. Like the way earlier they have mentioned that the cell was placed in what? Solution A, and afterward it was also placed what? In solution what? B, like the way this one is appearing in figure 1.2, which is B. Now, this one here has gained water, and this one here has lost what? Water. Now, we need to explain what happens for this cell to reach this stage. Okay. So the first one here, I'm going to say the cell has lost water by osmosis. The cell has lost water by osmosis. Now, it is very, very important for you to understand the definition of osmosis. So osmosis is the random movement. Okay, it's a random movement of water molecules, or the movement of water molecules from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration through the selectively semi-permeable membrane. Now, as you can see here, this cell here has gained what? Water by osmosis, which means this cell here was placed in hypotonic solution. Okay, it was placed in what? Let me say yes, it was placed in hypotonic solution. As for the cell in figure 1.2a, it was placed in hypotonic solution. Then as for the cell in figure 1.2b, it was placed in hypertonic solution. Okay, so when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, you're going to find that it is going to lose water by osmosis. Okay, so the next one I'm going to say, the cell membrane pulls off the cell wall. Okay, as you can see here, the way the cell membrane has pulled off the cell wall. Okay, the way the cell membrane is appearing on this diagram here, you can see that it has pulled off the cell wall. Okay, yes. Then the last one I'm going to say, the cell undergoes what? Cell plasmolysis. Okay, the cell undergoes what? Cell plasmolysis. So you're going to find that when a cell, when a plant cell loses water by osmosis, when a plant cell loses water by osmosis, like the cell in figure 1.2b, you're going to find that it is going to undergo cell plasmolysis. Okay, it is going to undergo cell plasmolysis. Now, like the way the cell in figure 1.2a is looking like. Okay, so this one here has gained water by osmosis. Now, when a plant cell gains water by osmosis, you are going to find that it is going to undergo cell turgidity. Okay, it is going to undergo cell turgidity. Okay, now as you can see here, the plant cell, it has a cell wall, so which means it is not going to undergo bursting. Okay, yes. So let's try to move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is saying figure 4.2 shows the organs in the female reproductive system. Okay, figure 4.2 shows the organs in the female reproductive system. Then as for Roman numeral 1 is saying identify the parts labeled D, E, and F. Choose words from the list. Okay, so we have part D. So this part D, it is called D, the oviduct or the fallopian tube. Then as for part E, it is called D, the ovary. Okay, part E, it is called D, the ovary. Then as for part F, it is called D, the uterus. It is called D, the uterus. So now as for D, we have mentioned that this one is the oviduct. Then as for E, it is the ovary. Then the last one, which is the F, it is the uterus. Okay. Now as for Roman numeral number 2 is saying, on figure 4.2, draw an X to show where sperm are released during sexual intercourse. So where sperms are released, or where sperm is released, are released during sexual intercourse, it is on this part here. Okay, it is only this part here, which is the what? The vagina. So in this part here, you're supposed just to label it as X. Okay, so this part here, it is called what? The vagina. That is where now the what? The sperms are going to be released. Okay. Then as for D, it is saying figure 4.3 shows a sperm cell. The tail can be moved from side to side. Okay, the tail can be moved from side to side. So we are having the tail and also this head here. Okay, this one is the what? The head. So this part here, it is called the head, and this one here, it is called the what? The neck. And also the last one, which is the what? The tail. Now, the question is saying, suggest why the tail is important for reproduction. Suggest why the tail is important for reproduction. So, the role of the tail during what? Reproduction. You're going to find that when sperms are released from the testes, they are going to swim in the what? In the semen. So which means on this part here, the function of the tail, it just helps the sperm to swim toward the what? The vagina, okay, or toward the egg. Okay, yes. So I'm going to say the function of the tail, it helps the sperm to move toward the egg or toward the vagina. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So the next one is coming from enzymes. Okay, the next one is coming from enzymes. So the question is saying figure 2.1 shows, okay, in order 4 stages in which an enzyme controlled reaction, let me say, in which an enzyme controlled chemical reaction occur. So before I answer the questions, we have part M. So this part M, it is called the substrate. Then as for part N, it is called the active site. Then as for part O, it is called the enzyme. Okay. So now once part M, which is the substrate, binds. So once part M binds on part N, which is the active site, they are going to form the enzyme complex substrate. Okay, they are going to form what? Enzyme complex substrate. They are going to form what? Enzyme complex substrate, which is this part here. Okay, yes. So now, after the reaction, you're going to find that the substrate is going to be broken down. Okay, the substrate is going to be broken down. As you can see here, the substrate is going to be broken down. That is what? Catabolism. Okay, that one is what? Catabolism. Now, as you can see here at the end of the chemical reaction, this part P here, it is going to be called as the product or products. Part P, it is called what? The product or products. Now, as you can see here, structure O, which is the what? The enzyme is going to remain the same at the end of the what? The reaction. It is going to remain the what? The same at the end of the reaction. So at the end of the reaction, enzymes are not used up. So question A is saying identify M, N, O, and P. So as for M, it is called the substrate. And then as for N, it is called the active site. Then as for O, it is called the enzyme. Then the last one, which is P, it is called the product. Okay, it is called the product. Then as for B, it is saying by referring to figure 2.1, explain why only a small amount of enzyme is needed to catalyze a reaction involving main molecules. Now, as you can see here, like the way I was saying, at the end of the reaction, enzymes are not used up. Okay, at the end of the reaction, enzymes are not used up, which means we can use enzymes repeatedly. Okay, we can use enzymes repeatedly. So at the end of the reaction, enzymes are not used up. Okay, so I'm going to say this is because at the end of the reaction, enzymes are not altered or used up. Okay, then as for C, Roman numeral 1 is saying explain how a rise in temperature may increase the rate of an enzyme controlled reaction. So you're going to find that the higher the temperature, the higher the enzyme's what? Temperature, the higher the enzyme reaction. So in this part here, I'm going to say the higher the temperature, the higher the enzyme reaction. Okay. Then as for the last one, which is Roman numeral number 2, is saying at high temperatures, enzymes are denatured and can no longer act as catalysts. By using the letters M, which is the substrate, and N, which is the active site, from figure 2.1, suggests what happens when an enzyme is denatured. Okay, so when an enzyme undergoes denaturalization, by the way, denaturalization is defined as the process by which the part of an enzyme, which is the active site, is disturbed so that it can't accept the substrate, which is part what? M. Okay, so part M, let me say part N is going to be disturbed. Okay, part N is going to be what? Disturbed, so that it is going to fail to accept part what? M, which is the substrate in this case here. Okay, so for you to answer this question here, you need to use lock and key hypothesis or mechanism. So in this part here, like the way the lock and the key is, okay, you can't use let's for example, You can't use your neighbor's key to open your door. Okay, you can't use the neighbor's key to open the door unless you are using the same key. Okay, yes, unless you are using the same key. So on this part E, part N is going to be disturbed, thereby failing to accept part M. So that was the last one. Thanks for watching.